Welcome back to the channel Rare Coins History, where loose change becomes legendary, and forgotten coins could unlock fortune. Today, we're zooming in on a massive piece of American coinage history, one that's big in size, big in presence, and possibly big in value. We're talking about none other than the 1971 Eisenhower $1 coin, also known as the Ike dollar. And trust me when I say, this isn't just a bulky piece of metal from the 70s. Some rare versions of this coin have shocked collectors and sold for prices you'd never expect. So make sure to stick around to the very end, where we reveal just how much one of these incredible coins sold for. It's a number you won't believe. Let's rewind to the early 1970s. The US Mint was ready to roll out the first dollar coin since the peace dollar ended production in 1935. To honor President Dwight D. Eisenhower, the hero of World War II and the 34th president, a brand new dollar coin was created in 1971, both as a tribute and a transition into a modern era of American coinage. Now here's where things get interesting. These coins were large, measuring 38.1 millimeters in diameter, and they came in different compositions. The ones minted for general circulation were made of copper-nickel clad, while special collector versions were struck in 40% silver, known as silver clad. The coins were minted in Philadelphia, No mint mark, Denver, D mint mark, and San Francisco, S mint mark. Each mint produced millions, but as with any mass production, a few unexpected surprises slipped through the cracks, and for collectors, those surprises are golden. Let's talk about errors and varieties, the key to turning a regular Eisenhower dollar into a 5, or even 6-figure coin. One of the most famous and valuable is the 1971 Eisenhower silver dollar struck on a copper-nickel planchet. A major mint error. This happened when a coin intended to be struck in 40% silver was mistakenly minted on a standard copper-nickel blank. These coins can be identified by their weight. Silver versions weigh around 24.59 grams, while copper-nickel versions weigh 22.68 grams. So if you've got a 1971 Eisenhower that weighs less than it should, get it tested. It could be worth a fortune. Another prized error is the peg leg variety, where the vertical bar of the R in Liberty appears thick and stump-like, almost missing the serif at the bottom. It's a subtle detail, but one that collectors chase obsessively. There are also die adjustment strikes, where the coin appears weakly struck due to testing of die pressure. These examples are extremely rare because they were never meant to be released. And then we have double dies, off-center strikes, and even clipped planchets, where a portion of the coin appears bitten off. So how can you tell if your Ike dollar is special? Start by flipping it over. Look closely at the reverse, where the eagle is landing on the moon. This design was inspired by the Apollo 11 mission and carries deep symbolic meaning. Check for sharpness in the strike. Does anything look doubled? Misaligned? Or does the metal composition look unusual? Even the rim and edge of the coin can provide clues about how, and where, it was minted. Now here's the kicker: condition matters a lot. Coins graded MS 65 or higher, that's mint state, with no wear and full luster, are already valuable. But when a rare error is found on one of these high-grade coins, that's when things go sky high at auction. Let's talk about real-world examples. There was one incredible 1971 Eisenhower dollar with a critical mint error, preserved in near-perfect condition, that went to auction and left jaws on the floor. Collectors worldwide lined up, bidding aggressively for this one-of-a-kind coin. The competition was fierce, the tension was real, and when the final gavel dropped, well, let's just say this wasn't your everyday dollar. So now, let's get to the moment you've been waiting for. A single 1971 Eisenhower $1 coin, struck in error and preserved in immaculate condition, once sold for a jaw-dropping $371,000. Yes, you heard that right. $371,000, for a $1 coin, and that's the magic of coin collecting. It's not just about old change, it's about history, art, precision, mystery, and the thrilling possibility that a coin you already own might just be hiding a secret. So if you've got a 1971 Ike dollar, maybe one inherited, found at a flea market, or stashed away for decades, it's time to take a second look. Weigh it. Inspect it. Magnify it. Because you could be holding one of the most valuable modern coins ever made, and if you think you found something interesting, or even just want help evaluating what you've got, drop us a comment below. We love hearing from our community, and who knows? Your coin might be our next featured story. Today, we're diving into one of the most surprising, overlooked, and potentially game-changing coins in American history. We're talking about the 1972 Eisenhower $1 coin, commonly called the Ike dollar. And yes, it's big. Yes, it's bold. And for one rare version of this coin, it's worth far, far more than face value. In fact, one of these coins sold for an amount that'll leave you absolutely speechless, and we're going to tell you exactly how much at the end of this video. So, grab your magnifying glass and let's dig in. This could be the coin that turns pocket change into a small fortune. Let's set the scene. The year is 1972. The U.S. Mint is entering its second year of producing the Eisenhower Dollar, named after President Dwight D. Eisenhower, a five-star general, World War II hero, and the 34th President of the United States. This coin wasn't just about honoring Ike, it was also about commemorating America's recent lunar triumph, the Apollo 11 moon landing. The reverse of the coin features an eagle landing on the moon, a design inspired by the Apollo 11 mission patch. It's powerful. It's patriotic. And it's where the magic, and the money, really begins. Now, let's talk about mint marks and types. In 1972, Eisenhower dollars were minted in Philadelphia, No mint mark; Denver, D mint mark; San Francisco, S mint mark. The San Francisco coins were mostly special collector editions, struck in a silver-clad composition, while Philadelphia and Denver made the standard copper-nickel versions for circulation. But here's where things get really interesting. The 1972 Ike dollar minted in Philadelphia has three major reverse types, and one of them is so rare, it's considered a holy grail for Eisenhower collectors. These reverse types are subtle but significant. Type 1 has low relief earth with vague details and poorly defined islands. Type 2, the rarest of all, it features a high relief earth with no distinct islands below Florida. Only about 100,000 of these were accidentally released before the mint caught the mistake. Type 3 features clear, detailed islands and became the standard for the rest of the 1972 production. That Type 2 reverse is the one to watch. It was only issued on coins from the Philadelphia Mint, and only for a very short time. Most collectors never even knew it existed until much later. That makes finding one in the wild extremely rare, and extremely valuable. So how do you identify it? You'll need a close-up look at the earth on the reverse side of the coin. On Type 2 coins, there are no islands visible below Florida. Just a smooth outline. The globe looks softer and less defined. It's a subtle difference, but it's everything when it comes to value. Now, aside from the reverse type, 1972 Eisenhower dollars also come with other valuable errors. Some include double die obverse, where the lettering or date appears shadowed or doubled, especially visible on "In God We Trust," or the date. Off-center strikes, where the design is noticeably shifted; clipped planchets, where part of the coin looks like it's been sliced off; and even wrong planchet strikes, where the coin was struck on metal intended for other denominations, like quarters or half dollars. Each of these errors, when found in good condition, can command thousands of dollars from serious collectors. And speaking of condition, let's not forget, grade matters. Coins are graded on a 70-point scale, with MS 65 and above being the gold standard for modern coins. A rare error or variety in mint state condition, especially with its original luster and no wear, can multiply a coin's value exponentially. So when you combine rarity, error, and condition, you've got a recipe for record-breaking prices. Let's talk real numbers. A few years back, a collector discovered a 1972 Type 2 Eisenhower dollar that wasn't just rare. It was in nearly flawless condition, certified by a top grading service. The coin made its way to auction, and the room was electric. Collectors from around the country placed aggressive bids, recognizing how seldom a coin like this hits the open market, and when the final gavel dropped, the price wasn't just high, it was historic. That single 1972 Eisenhower dollar, minted in Philadelphia with the ultra-rare Type 2 reverse and preserved in extraordinary condition, sold for a mind-blowing $365,000. Yes, You heard that right. $365,000 for a coin many people still overlook as pocket change. So here's the big question: do you have one? Check your collection. Grab those old Ike dollars from your change jar, your parents' drawer, or your childhood coin folder. Look closely at the earth. Weigh the coin. Inspect every detail, because if you've got a 1972 Ike dollar with a Type 2 reverse, or any major error, especially in mint condition, you could be holding the next six-figure treasure. And if you're not sure what you've got, drop a comment below. Share a photo, ask a question. We love hearing from you, and we might even feature your coin in an upcoming episode. Today, we're stepping into the world of one of the most overlooked but incredibly valuable coins ever minted in the United States, the 1974 Eisenhower $1 coin, also known as the Big Dollar. Now, before you pass this off as just another clunky coin from the 70s, let me tell you this: a single rare version of this coin, with the right error and in the right condition, has sold for a price that most people wouldn't believe, an amount so jaw-dropping, you'll want to check every coin in your collection. So stick with me to the very end, where we'll reveal that unbelievable number in words. Trust me, you won't want to miss it. Let's start with the basics. In 1974, the U.S. Mint was still producing the Eisenhower Dollar, named after President Dwight D. Eisenhower, the commanding general during World War II and later the 34th President of the United States. These coins were large, bold, and patriotic, and featured an eagle landing on the moon, a nod to the Apollo 11 mission and America's place in space history. They were minted in 3 locations: Philadelphia, no mint mark; Denver, marked with a D below Eisenhower's neck; and San Francisco, marked with an S, primarily for collector's issues in a special silver-clad version. The regular circulation coins were made of a copper-nickel clad, while the San Francisco issues contained 40% silver, but only in collector's sets, not released for general use. But here's where things get really exciting, because not all coins that came out of these mints were created equal. You see, 1974 is a year full of numismatic mystery. It sits right on the edge of a big change. The U.S. Mint was preparing to replace the Eisenhower dollar with a smaller coin, the Susan B. Anthony dollar, which would debut in 1979. During these years, the Mint was experimenting, making test strikes, and modifying dies, and some very unusual coins slipped through the cracks. Let's talk about rare varieties and valuable errors that make the 1974 Ike dollar worth far more than face value. First up, struck on a wrong planchet. This is one of the most exciting types of errors. Imagine a $1 coin accidentally being struck on a blank meant for a quarter, a half-dollar, or even a foreign coin. These minting mistakes are extremely rare, and when they happen to a coin as large and noticeable as the Ike dollar, collectors go wild for them. Next, off-metal errors. These occur when a $1,974 coin is minted using the wrong alloy, like a silver-clad planchet instead of the standard copper-nickel clad. Some test strikes in silver were made and were never meant for public release. Yet a few found their way out. If you find a 1974 Eisenhower dollar that's heavier than usual or has a bright, silvery sheen, get it tested. It might just be one of those legendary off-metal errors. Then, there's the famous double die obverse, where the date or the words "Liberty" and "In God We Trust" appear slightly doubled. These can be hard to spot with the naked eye, but with a magnifier, they become unmistakable, and highly valuable. Also, don't overlook repunched mint marks. These errors happen when the mint mark was hand-punched more than once in slightly different positions. A 1974 D coin, for example, with a clearly doubled D mint mark can raise eyebrows, and auction prices, and of course, condition is key. A coin with a common error but in mint state condition, that means full luster, no wear, and sharp detail, can be worth 10 times more than the same coin with signs of circulation. If you're holding an uncirculated 1974 Eisenhower dollar, check for these key features and errors. You could be looking at something very special. So where do collectors go to find or sell these rare 1974 Ike dollars? Top auction houses like Heritage Auctions and Stack's Bowers regularly list these coins, and bidding can get fierce. In fact, Some of the highest prices ever paid for Ike dollars came from coins with extremely rare errors combined with pristine condition, graded MS-66 or MS-67 by top grading services like PCGS or NGC. Now, let's get to the exciting part you've been waiting for. There was one particularly rare 1974 Eisenhower dollar. It had been struck on the wrong planchet, had a dramatic mint error, and was graded in near-perfect condition. It stunned experts when it surfaced, and collectors couldn't believe it had survived for decades without being discovered. It went up for auction, and after intense bidding from seasoned numismatists, the final sale price was absolutely historic. That single 1974 Eisenhower dollar coin sold for a staggering $357,000. Yes, you heard that right. $357,000 for one coin that originally had a face value of just $1. So here's the big question. Do you have one of these coins sitting in your collection? Maybe in a drawer, a jar, or a forgotten coin album? Don't overlook the 1974 big dollar just because it's not made of gold or silver. Because with the right error, the right grade, and a bit of luck, it could be worth more than a luxury car, or even a house. If you think you've got something interesting, or want help identifying a coin, drop a comment below. We love hearing your stories, answering questions, and maybe even featuring your finds in a future video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that bell for more amazing coin stories, values, and hidden treasures from the world of numismatics. Thanks for watching, and remember, some of the biggest coins carry the biggest surprises. Your 1974 Eisenhower dollar might just be worth $357,000. Happy hunting, and see you in the next one.